All right, live on YouTube, live on Rumble. Good afternoon. Welcome to This Date in History, aka TDH. I'm A.O. Xander. We will be joined by the Golem here shortly. And you, viewer, you, of course. Today is Frisbee, aka Friday, January 23rd, 2026. This show is about interesting and important events that occurred on this calendar day throughout the annals of recorded history, starting with the year 393. Roman Emperor Theodosius I proclaimed his 9-year-old son honoris co-emperor, and the other source states 8 years old. So we have a discrepancy here. Was he 8 or 9? Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Golden Loon.
Yeah, you have to introduce yourself. You know? 909, Bulgarian saint Joan of Rila, Saint Ivan, performed the miracle of the 2 pies, using 2 pies to feed the poor. So, what, you just slice them into very, very tiny slices, like a corporate pizza, like party or something?
I don't know.
But, like, I want to look this up here. Miracle of the 2 pies. The 2 pies. This kind of sounds like, you know, Jesus with the fish and the bread and everything. Joan of Rila, okay? He was the first Bulgarian hermit. He was... legend surrounding him tells of wild animals that freely came up to him and birds that landed in his hands, as if that doesn't happen to anybody else. But what was the miracle of the 2 pies thing?
Yeah.
Trying to find that. This is telling me about his death. I'm not finding anything. 2 pie Ivan. Okay, well, if anybody can let us know in the comment section, that'd be great, but we got to keep on going here. And we're going to be reading quite a bit of articles because a lot of crazy stuff happened today. 971, War Elephant Corps on the Southern Han defeated at Chao by crossbow fire from Song Dynasty troops, forcing the Southern Han state to submit to the Song Dynasty, first regular War Elephant Corps in the Chinese army. So that's pretty interesting. That China was using elephants and everything. I'm sure there's Asian elephants and such up in there, and elephants, as we know, come from India, or primarily in India and all that stuff. And of course, there's Africa.
India, so yeah.
And of course, there's African elephants and everything. But I never would have thought, that there'd be an elephant corps in the Chinese armed forces.
No, you don't think about that.
1229, the episcopal seat was moved from Noisanian to Kororian, located near the current center of Turku, by the permission of Pope Gregory IX. This date was starting to be considered as the founding of Turku. I don't know what Turku is, but we do have it. It tells me to well, actually, I want to image search this. Actually, no, I got this right here. So this is a picture of the elephant.
Oh,
and
okay.
they're up on the top here, and we have what appear to be Turks or something. Like they look like Middle Eastern garb with the turbans and everything. And then this is the chair, so it's an actual seat, not just a position, but it's an actual chair.
Yeah.
And
look at that thing.
Yeah, they moved it. I want to look this up on image search really quick. Come on. Okay. Why are you not copying? There we go. Freaking stupid thing. But there's an image here of the Pope looking at it with somebody. So it's in a place. There's paintings and everything.
Yeah.
So it's in a place right now. But that's pretty cool. There's an actual chair.
Yeah.
You know. I think that was the Pope's original chair, maybe the throne or something.
I don't know, but it's cool. Whatever it is,
Yeah.
very old.
You can tell it's old because one of the things in the back is broken. You see right here, it's open. So. Moving on up to 1264, in the conflict between King Henry III of England and his rebellious barons led by Simon de Montfort, King Louis IX of France issued the Mise of Amends, a one-sided decision in favor of Henry that would later lead to the Second Barons' War. Yeah. 1265, first English Parliament not summoned by the monarch was formally convened by some authorities. So this up until this time, it had always been the king
Summoned by the king.
Yep.
Yeah.
1368, in a coronation ceremony, Zhu Yanjing, age 40, ascended to the throne of China as the Hongwu Emperor, initiating Ming Dynasty rule over China that will last for 3 centuries.
Jeez.
That's 300 years.
Yeah.
Now it says here from our other source, he proclaimed himself the Hongwu Emperor, beginning the Ming Dynasty. So, but I still have another year or so. You know?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, he was age 40 when he did this.
Oh.
I still have another year or so before, you know.
You declare yourself.
Yeah, and you know, reign over something that lasts for hundreds of years.
300 years of being the hat god.
Yeah, I am the Hat Man. I haunt your dreams. 1490, first printing of Ramban Shahar Ha-Gamul. I don't know what the heck that is. I'm going to look that up here really quick. It sounds like maybe a book or something. For Hambrans. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So, whatever this is, it might be a religious text. End of Days, Part 2. Okay. That escalated quickly. 1546, having published nothing for 11 years, Francois Rabelais published the Thiers Livre, his sequel to Gargantua and Pantagruel. Okay. So at least he finally did something after 11 years. 1552, second version of the Book of Common Prayer became mandatory in England. Yep. 1556, the Shaanxi earthquake, the deadliest ever recorded, killed 830,000 people in Shaanxi province, China.
Holy cow, 830,000 people.
Yeah, that's a lot. I have a kind of a picture. This is the guy who made the dynasty and everything. I'm sorry for the viewers. Like I always get backed up with the pictures. I'm doing way too much. But yeah, right there it shows where the epicenter is, and that's the county that it was in, or the prefecture or whatever it is. But smack dab, right in the middle of China.
Yeah.
Dude. That almost seems like an act of God trying to depopulate, you know, the whole area. 1565, the Deccan Sultanates defeated Rama Raya of the Vijayanagara Empire at the Battle of Talikota, resulting in over 100,000 casualties and the destruction of the capital, named after, or I guess the empire is named after the capital, Vijayanagara.
And where was this again?
It has to be India.
Okay.
I mean, with these names and everything.
Yeah.
So, 1570, the Regan of Scotland, the Earl of Moray, was assassinated, triggering a civil war. From the other source here, it says James Stuart, first Earl of Moray, Regan for the infant King James VI of Scotland, was assassinated by a firearm, the first recorded instance of such. So, a couple of days ago, we talked about the first recorded instance, or the probable first ever, of a mail bomb. Remember when somebody sent a bomb through a mail or something, letter or something, and then now we have the first recorded instance of an attempted assassin or a successful assassination with a firearm, successful or otherwise assassination at all with a firearm. 1579, Union of Utrecht was signed by Northern Habsburg counties of Holland and Zeeland, and the provinces of Utrecht and Groningen, marking the beginning of Protestant Dutch Republic in the Netherlands. Yeah. Moving on up to the 1700s, 1719, Liechtenstein became a member state of the Holy Roman Empire. And the Principality of Liechtenstein was created within the Holy Roman Empire, so there you go. And Liechtenstein, I believe, is like a very, very, very small country, but it's very wealthy and kind of not really known about.
So you think it exists today? I'm not
it still does.
Okay.
I'm looking every year. Liechtenstein, officially the Principality of Liechtenstein, is a doubly landlocked country in the Central European Alps. It is located between Austria in the east and northeast and Switzerland in the northwest, west, and south. Formed in 1719, as I wrote right here, it became fully independent upon the dissolution of the German Empire or something like that. But they're a very, very wealthy nation, and they're like the playgrounds of the globalist elites. That's where they go to hide.
Oh.
And it's incredibly secure. It's a very small nation, and I saw a YouTuber go there and to tour the country and everything, but like they have everything down on lock. They monitor you constantly, like they're a very wealthy nation.
Doesn't sound like somewhere I'd like to go, though.
No, well, unless you're an elite. 1755, Moscow University was established in the old style. It was January 12th, 1755. And then 1779, French astronomer Charles Messier cataloged M56, which is a globular cluster in Lyra, whatever Lyra is. And here's a photo of it, I presume. But look at that. Like initially, like this, it just looks like a bunch of light dots.
Yeah.
But you start making it bigger, and you start to realize those are all galaxies.
Mm.
And each of those has, billions and billions of stars with billions of planets. And, I mean, let me put something into perspective out there for you, viewer. There are more stars in the Milky Way galaxy alone, just, not the universe, the Milky Way galaxy, there are more stars than there are grains of sand on Earth. And that's one galaxy. And here, you see, I don't know, hundreds, thousands?
Yeah.
Each of those stars has planets, or most of them has planets. A lot of those is planets in the Goldilocks zone. We might be staring right here. There could be like 10 billion civilizations right here in this photo that we're looking at. Crazy. Moving on up to 1789, Georgetown, the first U.S. Catholic college, was founded in the United States. Was founded in Georgetown, of course, Maryland, now part of Washington, D.C., when Bishop John Carroll, Reverend Robert Molyneux, and Reverend John Ashton purchased the land for the proposed Academy for the Education of Youth. And here's an old painting of it.
So Georgetown is a Catholic college?
It was founded as one.
Yeah.
Might not be anymore, but
that's true.
It was founded as one.
Yeah.
1793, if anything, it's probably Muslim now. Humane Society of Philadelphia was organized. It was a first aid society. Or I guess the first aid Like the difference between first aid is in bandages, or the first aid society is in the first society that provides aid.
Yeah.
Oh. 1793, Prussia and Russia signed the Treaty of Grodno, later known as the Second Partition of Poland, ceding large portions of Poland to their bigger neighbors. Yeah. 1795, during the War of the First Coalition, the French cavalry captured 14 Dutch ships and 850 guns near the port of Den Helder, a rare instance of cavalry capturing a fleet. From another source, in a rare occurrence of a battle between ships and cavalry, after an extraordinary charge across the frozen Zuiderzee, the French cavalry captured 14 Dutch ships and 850 guns. Rare occurrence of a surrender of naval vessels to land forces.
That is kind of weird.
Well, like the river or the lake or whatever body of water the ships were on, it froze. And then they just rode up on their horses and said, "Hey, you're ours now." It's like, okay, that must have been hilarious. 1833, Joseph Peace became the first Quaker to be admitted to the UK Parliament on his affirmation. All right, yeah. I bet that shook some ground. He's a Quaker?
I got it.
1845, uniform U.S. election day for president and VP, vice president, was authorized. So this is when they decided on a uniform, this is when we're going to elect, every, 4 years, whatever,
Yeah.
1846, Tunisia became the first Arab nation to abolish, which means outlaw, slavery, in a decree issued by Ahmed I Bey. So 1846, Arabs abolishing slavery. That's awesome. That was before us.
Yes.
Fully, really.
Yeah.
So, 1849, Elizabeth Blackwell became the first woman in the U.S. to earn a medical degree, graduating from New York's Geneva Medical College.
Wow.
And I want to image search this because I specifically tried not to display people in the thumbnail, but I do want to give credit where credit is due. So this lady right here, Elizabeth Blackwell.
First woman doctor.
Yeah, first U.S. woman doctor.
Yeah.
1849, a U.S. patent was granted for an envelope-making machine to Jesse K. Park and Cornelius S. Watson. Yeah. And I couldn't find a good image of this, but I want to show you some more images because this one here is a newspaper and envelope addressing machine. So it appears that this image is very small, but this is the actual machine that we are talking about right now. Yeah, January 23rd.
Okay.
So this is an envelope making machine. Out of a coffee table or a footstool or something. Pretty cool what they had back then. 1853, John Wilkes Booth was baptized in St. Timothy's Protestant Episcopal Church. I just found that interesting that the future murderer of a world leader was baptized. Makes me wonder how many assassins were baptized.
Well.
Because clearly being born again Christian under the grace of God is not stopping you from sinning. So,
no.
Yeah.
No.
1856, Stadian sidewheel steamer SS Pacific left Liverpool, England on what became her final voyage. Lost at sea en route to New York with 186 on board.
Ooh.
Yes. And, that makes me wonder, when was the propeller invented? I know we're gonna figure that out eventually. But when you think about it, ships back in the day, like, they were sails.
Yeah.
And then you came up with the engine.
Yeah.
But then, how do you use the engine to power a boat? The propeller wasn't invented, the corkscrew or any of that. So then you just take a page out of a freaking mill processing windmill, or a water mill with the big paddle wheels.
Yeah.
You slap it on the side of a ship, hook it up to the boat, and off you go. That's literally what they did.
Yeah.
Before they invented the propeller. Amazing when you sit back and think about the process of invention. What people thought of. 1859, Mauna Loa volcano in Hawaii began an eruption that lasted for 300 days.
Ooh,
it's a long time. Yeah,
that's almost a year.
Yeah, almost.
10 months.
Yeah. 1862, Augustin Horsley, the first vintner in Sonoma Valley, California, imported 10,000 grapevine cuttings.
Ah, there you go. Started grapes.
Yeah. Oh, this is the picture of the people coming to get the ships on the thing.
Yeah.
What
is that?
That's a bridge.
Maybe not there.
Oh, I read over. Okay. One before, 1855, first bridge over the Mississippi River in what is now Minneapolis, Minnesota, opened, today known as the Father Louis Hennepin Bridge. Now, they rebuilt it and everything, but this bridge still exists. Not this exact one, but this from this shoreline here still exists. But look at that. That's the first one over the Mississippi. Yeah. And then now we get to the first vineyard. So here we go. Buena Vista, Sonoma, California, 1862. Sonoma. Not Simona.
Yeah, Sonoma.
Sonoma. Well, that's cool.
Napa, Sonoma, Mendocino counties. Yeah. All grow grapes.
Yep. Yeah, let's see. 1869, the Battle of Rorke's Drift during the Anglo-Zulu War ended. Now, we're going to have a discrepancy here in a minute, but we'll get there. 1870, the Marias Massacre. Approximately 200 Pigeon Blackfeet Indians, mostly women, children, and elderly men, were killed by the U.S. Army in Montana Territory, spawning outrage and preventing the military from gaining control of the Bureau of Indian Affairs. Yeah, that would do it. Says here they murdered 173 Native Americans, mostly women and children, in what became known as the Marias Massacre. 1879, U.S. National Archery Association formed in Crawfordsville, Indiana. Yeah.
Good old archery.
And then 1879, Anglo-Zulu War, the Battle of Rorke's Drift ended. Hold up a second. I just covered that in 1869. So which is it, 1869 or 1879? So let's figure this out right now. 1879. So I will get rid of this right now. Yeah. You are witnessing live on air history. What else do we got here? 1889, Daniel Hale Williams formed the Provident Hospital in Chicago, the first non-segregated hospital in the U.S. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass a segregated hospital must be? Like,
can't imagine.
Holy crap. You have to have separate storehouses and do this and do that. At the end of the day, we're all human. I mean, granted, there's some differences here and there. They have a higher chance of getting vitiligo or whatever, but still, if somebody catches a cold, you don't want to go down the hall to the left to the black storage area. Just somebody needs help. What the hell?
That's just sad.
Yeah. Because segregation, I never thought about that. Something like a hospital being segregated, the logistics in that have got to be an absolute nightmare.
It's probably fair to assume that one side of the segregated hospital was not particularly taken well care of.
Yes, obviously. 1894, G.W. Burnbury of Dublin set a shorthand record of 250 words per minute for 10 minutes. So that was his average. And shorthand. I wonder if that's still the record or if they even categorize that anymore. 1897, Alva Zona Heister was found dead in Greenbrier County, West Virginia, resulting murder trial of her husband, perhaps the only case in U.S. history where the alleged testimony of a ghost helped secure a conviction. What? Okay. They did justice a lot different back then.
Yeah.
1899, Emilio Aguinaldo was sworn in as president of the First Philippine Republic.
Ah.
And it says Yep, it says here from the other source, the Malolos Constitution was inaugurated, establishing the first Philippine Republic. Emilio Aguinaldo was sworn in as the first president. All right. 1904, Norwegian coastal town of Alisund was devastated by a fire, leaving 10,000 people homeless and 1 person dead. Kaiser Wilhelm II funded the rebuilding of the town in Jugoid style. All right. And he was, of course, the German emperor and king of Prussia. 908, the U.S. and U.K. demanded to an end to the atrocities in the Congo under King Leopold II's rule, prompting Belgium to annex it. All this Congo stuff and everything, like Europe is constantly playing land grab, real estate, war and all that stuff. There's a whole thing about the Belgian Congo and how horrible he just exploited everybody for resources. I think if I'm getting my story straight, he set up this whole thing where it was supposed to be this whole humanitarian thing, but instead he just did exploitative labor and all that stuff. And of course he told all the other Europeans everything's fine, yada yada, and it was a whole deal. 909, the first radio rescue at sea using QCD or CQD distress code by the British Royal Mail steamship Republic off Nantucket Island. So it says from the other source, RMS Republic, a passenger ship of the White Star Line, became the first ship to use the CQD distress signal after she collided with another ship, the SS Florida, off the Massachusetts coastline. Ultimately, 6 people perished, as did the Republic herself the following day. She sunk. But this is the first instance of using distress signal, CQD, the predecessor to SOS, as we spoke about a while ago. Because we spoke about the article, we read the article in which they actually made that transition. Remember?
I don't right offhand. Was that today?
Well, no, that was a while ago.
Okay.
Weeks. It was weeks ago.
Okay.
1912, the first International Opium Convention was signed at The Hague, the first one. And what is Opium Convention?
Oh, man. Good times.
I would say the aspiration of this still being a thing would be a high hope. 1913, the Young Turks led a coup d'etat against the Turkish government, assassinating Minister of War Nazim Pasha. Not to be confused with that YouTube channel, the Young Turks, or whatever, that news organization. Isn't there one called the Young Turks? 1916, the temperature fell from 44 degrees Fahrenheit, or 7 degrees Celsius, to negative 56 degrees Fahrenheit, I guess negative 49 degrees Celsius, during the night of the 23rd to 24th in Browning, Montana. Wow. That is a huge thing. Yeah. How does it fall from 7 to 49? They must have meant to put in a negative there. Yeah. Right here.
Yeah.
So, 1919, the first regional Congress of Peasants, Workers, and Insurgents was held by the Makoslovina at Velikomia. I'm not even going to try to pronounce this. But look at this. It looks like somebody just smashed their face on a keyboard and rolled it. But that's a weird combination. Peasants, workers, and insurgents? Unless insurgents meant something vastly different than what they do today, these people are dealing with terrorists. It's weird. 1920, the Dutch refused to turn over ex-Emperor Wilhelm II of Germany to the Allies. This is after the First World War.
Yeah.
He had fled his former country and everything, and he was living in exile in the Netherlands, it sounds like. And the Allies wanted his ass, but then they said no. So, and let's not forget the Netherlands sided with the Nazis during World War II, so that whole region of Europe is very questionable. 1922, the first successful treatment with insulin was given to a 14-year-old diabetic Leonard Thompson.
Oh, man, that's huge.
Yeah. I mean, it sucks enough to have diabetes at such a young age, 14?
Yeah.
But, it's, now that makes me wonder how many people died to unsuccessful treatments. But at least this kid survived, so that's good.
How many died without insulin?
Yeah. 1930, Clyde Tombaugh photographed dwarf planet Pluto. And this, I told me to image search this, so let me see here. I'm going to image search
Get the dwarf off there. Give it credit.
Well, it's still being called a planet.
Yeah.
So, dwarf planet, though, but... I suppose... Yeah, right here. This has to be the picture, the mechanism he used.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to see. Well, that's even more difficult to see. That's still pretty cool. 1930 as well, George Washington Birthplace National Monument, Virginia, was established. Good. Why did it take that long? 1930?
So what? What was established?
George Washington Birthplace National Monument.
Birthplace. Okay.
Why did it take that long to establish?
I don't know.
What the hell? 1932, the El Salvador Army killed 4,000 protesting farmers. I wonder if this is during the Banana War, so I'm going to look this up here really quick. Nicosia, El Salvador, La Matanza. Huh. Okay. It resulted in the deaths of 10,000 to 40,000 people. Government killings, yeah. Oh, it was during a revolt and everything. You know, I'm gonna add this in the underbar section here really quick. So let me add this link here. That's the wrong button. I did not want to open that. This is what I wanted. Okay. All right. Moving on up to 1933, the 20th Amendment, which changed the date of U.S. presidential inaugurations to January 20th, was ratified. Because remember, it used to be March 20th.
Oh, is that? I was just gonna say, what was that? I don't remember. It was March 20th?
Yeah. Well, we went through all those inaugurations a couple days ago.
Yeah.
And remember, I was talking about the first time that the inauguration was January 20th instead of in March or whatever it was.
I don't remember that.
Wow.
I remember something about it, but I don't remember the details.
Yeah, you were caught off guard that there used to be a difference in everything.
Yeah.
1934, New York Rangers left-wing Murray Murdoch played his 400th straight game, or NHL game, in a 5-2 win over Ottawa Senators at Madison Square Garden, New York City. Streak reached 508 consecutive games.
That's amazing.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that is. 1937, Karl Radek and 16 others went on trial in Moscow as part of the Great Purge, many being sentenced to death. And they were put there because they were accused of sympathizing with Leon Trotsky and plotting to overthrow Joseph Stalin's regime, according to Joseph Stalin. So, 41, the first mass killing of Jews in Romania during the 3-day riots. Between 115 and 130 people were murdered. Yep. 41 as well. Charles Lindbergh testified before the U.S. Congress and recommended that the United States negotiate a neutrality pact with Adolf Hitler. And let's not forget that Charles Lindbergh was a Nazi supporter. He was an anti-Semite. He hated the Jews. He entertained Adolf Hitler and Himmler and all those people. And I believe he killed his son. Not intentionally, but he killed his son. And he just blamed it on some poor bloke who took the hit. So, look into it. There's a whole thing. 1941, groundbreaking for NACA, which is now NASA, Lewis Research Center.
What was it at first?
NACA, N-A-C-A.
Huh.
This is 41, so NACA. This is something else here. NACA program. Hold on. NACA, NASA. Let me find this. National Advisory Committee for Aeronautics. Huh. So that's what NACA was. Before the National Administration, or the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. It was the National Advisory Committee for Aeronautics.
Huh.
Huh. I did not know that.
I didn't know that either.
I'm going to add this in the underbar section. I'm trying to have some more links so people can look at things post-show to keep the energy going, 1943, Detroit Red Wings scored NHL record 8 goals in one period.
One period.
That sounds like a lot.
Yeah, that is.
1943, the fall of Tripoli, British 8th Army and Commonwealth forces marched into Tripoli as the German army was pushed back to Tunisia. Yep. 44, Detroit Red Wings scored 15 goals against New York Rangers with an NHL record 37 points. Also a record consecutive goals in most lopsided game, 15-0. Wow. Yikes. 45, World War II, German Admiral Karl Donitz launched Operation Hannibal to evacuate German soldiers and civilians from Prussia by sea. And we were talking about how they were over the next year and a half or whatever. This was like yesterday, the day before, evacuating hundreds of thousands of people. I think this is the same thing. 46, Rear Admiral Sidney W. Sowers, USNR, became the first director of the CIA, Central Intelligence Agency. So, 1950, third edition of Joseph Kane's famous First Facts was published. It's telling me to look that up here, so I'm going to look that up really quick. First facts. Famous first facts. A record of first happenings, discoveries, and inventions in American... This looks interesting. So it's basically a record of all the firsts.
Yeah.
First this, first that. I want this book. I'm going to add this in the underbar section here. I'll be post out. I'll add all those links. The links that were collected will be in the underbar, the description below, post live stream. So stay tuned. 1950, AP picked Miracle Braves of 1914 as greatest sports upset. Do you have any clue about this?
No, 1914. That was way before my time.
No, this is 1950.
Yeah, what was it with 1940? Yeah, but...
In the year 1950, AP, I guess the Associated Press,
yeah.
picks the Miracle Braves of 1914.
Of 1914, before my time.
As the greatest sports upset. Oh, okay, so I understand. So they picked that as the greatest sports upset.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm still gonna add this in the underbar section just because I'm getting a little link crazy here. So, what else do we got here? Get rid of all this. 1950 as well, Israeli Knesset resolved and declared Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. 1950, NFL rule changed open way for 2 platoon system, offense and defense. Can you explain that?
I didn't quite get what that meant.
National Football League rule changes open the way for 2 platoon system, offense and defense.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they allowed for 2. You're on the defensive team or on the offensive team.
Okay.
When you lost the ball to the other team, then your defensive team would come on the field.
Ah, okay. So you have different teams.
Yeah.
Okay. I did not know. Do they still do that today? Like, do they have different people for different... Okay.
No, they have 2 different... still today. Once in a while, maybe in high school, you get someone that goes what calls 2 ways, both ways.
Oh.
But most are either offense or defense.
That's interesting.
Especially on the pro level and college.
1953, NFL Dallas Texans became the Baltimore Colts and now known as the Indianapolis Colts.
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't know they were Texans. I remember them as the the Baltimore Colts.
Yeah.
And then they went to Indianapolis.
Yep. 1953 as well, NFL's National and American Conference became East and West Conference. I have a lot of football stuff going on today. So, or hand egg, depending on how you want to look at it. But yeah, East versus West. Mm-hmm. And you know what I say?
Can't imagine.
West Coast, best coast, East Coast, least coast. So, 1957, Indian nationalist V.K. Krishna Menon began the longest ever speech defending India's stand on Kashmir at the United Nations, lasting for 8 hours. Wait, what? 8 hours over 2 days. So over 2 days, they in total spoke for 8 hours. Okay, that makes sense. 57, the Wham-O Company acquired rights to the Pluto Platter, a plastic flying disc toy from inventor Walter Frederick Morrison. They renamed it Frisbee in 1958 as a nod to the Frisbee Pie Company, whose empty tins were tossed by Yale University students, including Morrison, back in the 1930s. All right, we have a picture of him right here. It is, alien garb and everything.
Yeah. I
come from Neptune. Here's a Frisbee.
Never a Frisbee guy.
I like the Frisbee. 1958, dictator Marcos Perez Jimenez fled Venezuela. Lara Bazal took power. Huh. Something tells me that wouldn't be the last time a leader left Venezuela. For one reason or another.
Yeah.
And actually, we're going to be talking about Maduro.
Oh,
interestingly enough. Yeah, we will be. 1958, Pakistani cricket batsman Hanif Mohammed scored a record 337 runs in 970 minutes and drawn first test versus West Indies at Bridgetown, longest innings in test history. That's incredible. I don't know what it means.
I have no clue.
But a lot of numbers were just said, and I think that's pretty cool. 1960, U.S. Navy battleship Trieste, crewed by Swiss oceanographer Jacques Picard and U.S.N. Lieutenant Don Walsh, became the first manned vessel to reach the bottom of the Pacific Ocean at 10,916 meters in the Mariana Trench, Craft was designed by Auguste Piccard, father of the pilot, in 1953 for the French Navy. Now, do you know why this is so important?
Just that they're down in that trench, way down. It didn't crush. I guess that's important. I don't know why.
Well, I mean, that was the first time, we ever went down there. Like, you'll recognize this vessel here. Does this look familiar?
No.
1 second. There we go. This boat? This does not look familiar.
No.
This is what they took to the deepest part of the ocean.
I got that.
Yeah. And it wasn't until, I think, James Cameron in, 2003 or whatever it was that we went back down there again. 1961, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that cities and states have the right to censor films. I do not think so. Because if the cities and the states have the right to censor films, what's stopping the government from pressuring the cities and the states to do what the government wants from the federal government? That's how they used corporations to enforce all this mask mandates. The government couldn't make a law, but if they had all of the corporations say that, oh, you have to, then everybody has to. It's a workaround. It's a loophole to force their will on the people, not directly, but indirectly. And as soon as you start giving anybody any power to censor, you're just giving yourself the power of just making the road longer. Yeah. I do not agree with this at all. It is absolutely unconstitutional.
But cities and states are government. That isn't private. That's government.
Yeah,
There's all kinds of censorship from government.
The Supreme Court ruled that cities and states have the right to censor films.
Yeah.
I think that's unconstitutional. Anyway, 1961 as well, Venezuela adopted a constitution.
Oh, man.
Okay. Then we have the Portuguese luxury cruise ship Santa Maria was hijacked by opponents of the Estado Novo regime with the intention of waging war until dictator Antonio de Oliveira Salazar was overthrown. I think we spoke about that yesterday. And this one's not good. 1962, British intelligence officer Kim Philby defected to the USSR. That's not every day that they go to that route.
No.
Now keep in mind, everybody, all of this happened on this calendar date throughout all history. We also have Libya, Morocco, Algeria, and Tunisia planned to form the United Arab Maghreb. Planning continued until an agreement was reached in 1989. That took a while.
Yeah.
Wow. That's 27 years, if my math is correct. 60 to 80, 20, 9 minus 2 is 7, 27?
Okay, I didn't do the math, no.
1963, the Guinea-Bissau War of Independence officially began when PAIGC guerrilla fighters attacked the Portuguese army stationed on Tite. Yeah. And you didn't even know that Guinea-Bissau was a nation until yesterday.
No.
So, 1964, the 24th Amendment to the United States Constitution was ratified, barring, also known as prohibiting, the use of poll tax in national and federal elections. Now, do you know what a poll tax is?
I'm trying to, as you said, I was trying to think. I know of it, but I can't tell you what it is.
Poll taxes were used in the United States until they were outlawed under Section 10 of the Voting Rights Act of 1965, which I believe was this right here. Taxes of a fixed amount on every liable individual, regardless of their income, had also been a major source of government funding among the colonies and states which went on to form the United States. Poll taxes became a tool of disenfranchisement in the South during Jim Crow, following the end of Reconstruction. The 24th Amendment, ratified, as I said right here, abolished use of poll taxes for federal elections in the United States. The operative clause reads, "The right of citizens of the United States is to vote in any primary or other election for president or vice president, for electors for president or vice president, or for senator or representative in Congress, shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or any state by reason or failure to pay any poll tax or other tax." So it's a charge for voting.
For voting, yeah.
Which, that's unconstitutional. So, 1965, Boston Celtics center Bill Russell missed all 14 shots in a 104-100 loss to Philadelphia 76ers, led by newly acquired Wilt Chamberlain. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
those two had a battle for a number of years. He was in Philadelphia, and Russell was up in Boston, which we just read.
Yeah, well, it sounds like Bill Russell was terrible.
Oh, he is a great center. Great center. He just happened to miss 14 shots that night. He had a rough night.
Yeah. 1967, Milton Keynes in England was founded as a new town by order and council with a planning brief to become a city of 250,000 people. Its initial designated area enclosed 3 existing towns and 21 villages. The area to be developed was largely farmland with evidence of continuous settlement dating back to the Bronze Age. That sounds like the system trying to bury the past and just build on top of it. So, 1968, the spy ship USS Pueblo, an 83-man crew, was seized in the Sea of Japan by North Korea.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, you want to tell us a little bit about it?
No, you just did.
Okay.
That's what they did. They seized it.
Yep, 1969, Cream released their last album, Goodbye.
Cream was a great rock band.
Were they in any way affiliated with Peaches?
No. Just 3 of them really made fantastic music.
And you know what? That reminds me. I just got to see. There's this one interview that's just absolutely hilarious. This you remember Randy Savage, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
Justifiably in a position that I'd rather not be in, but the cream will rise to the top. Oh yeah.
During this interview, he kept pulling, like he grabbed like a handful of coffee cream. He kept pulling them and throwing them out. He's like endless supply of coffee cream.
Well, you know, the guys from Cream, that's the whole point of the name of the group. They all came from other groups.
Oh.
Successful groups.
Oh, so they were the cream of the crop.
There you go. Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that. So I was unintentionally making an accurate point with my stupid joke.
Yeah, I mean Eric Clapton, the guitarist.
Oh, I did not know all that.
What's his name? Bruce.
Springsteen?
The bass? No. What's his name? Bruce. Something Bruce.
Almighty?
No. Anyways, and the drummer, I can't think of his name right offhand. All came from successful groups.
Well, let's see here.
Yeah, there they are.
Why is it not telling me? Tell me the names.
Eric Clapton.
Ginger Baker, Jack Bruce, and Eric Clapton.
Bruce. Yeah.
All right.
3 guys. Rock and roll music to put out is amazing.
1 year later, 1970, Australia's first amateur radio satellite, Oscar V, was launched out of California. Nice. While that was happening, a member of the Dutch feminist group Dolly Mina burned their bras in Amsterdam. I guess members, plural, because the bras is plural. Or I guess one person burned all of their bras. I'm gonna need someone to look into this. So.
I think it'd be all they burned. The girls burned all their bras.
I'm not against that at all.
No, nor am I.
1971, UCLA lost to Notre Dame. UCLA then won their next 88 games in a row.
Yeah. No, I remember.
That's interesting.
Because they don't tell the win streak coming up to it, but they'd won a bunch.
Well,
a whole win streak going.
Well, it just said the UCLA then won the next 88 games in a row.
Yeah, but they had a win streak. They broke the win streak, and then they started another one for another 88 games.
Okay. Well, if anybody can let us know, I'm gonna I'm gonna look this up here really quick because I'm gonna do some live editing. Win streak for UCLA, right?
Yeah.
Win streak for UCLA 1971. Let's see here. 1970 to 71's UCLA Bruins men's basketball team. Is it going to tell me the win streak? This is going to require a lot of reading. You know what? I'm just going to ask the viewers to let us know in the comment section what the win streak was before this game, and then I'll put it in here, and then it'll be in here for the rest of time. So you can have some assistance in recording history. 1972, a bootlegger sold wood alcohol to a wedding party, killing 100 people in New Delhi.
Man.
1972 as well, the entire population of Istanbul is placed under 24-hour house arrest.
Jeez, how do you do that?
I don't know. 1973, Helgafell volcano on the island of Heimaey, Iceland, erupted for the first time in 7,000 years.
Jeez.
There's no such thing as dormancy. They're just sleeping.
Yeah.
1973, the results to the U.S. advice columnist Ann Lander's question, if they could do it all over, would parents still become parents? That was the question. Like they went around and asked a bunch of parents.
Yeah, would you do it all over again?
They stated that 70% of 10,000 people responding, or 10,000 responding parents, were negative about being parents.
Hell no.
Well, I have a feeling that's propaganda because they could just sit there and write whatever they want.
Yeah.
You know, because what's somebody going to do? Go out and ask those 10,000 parents themselves for verification? So this sounds like a great way to sling propaganda to try to de-incentivize people from procreating. Population control. You know?
Well, it's, yeah. It's how you ask the question, but it's the old thing. I wouldn't give you a plug nickel. I wouldn't give you $1 million for another kid. I wouldn't. Forget. I can't even think of what the saying is. Something about I wouldn't take a plug nickel. Forget it. I'm not thinking tonight. Too tired.
Not worth a plug nickel. Well, I found something about that phrase, but not the exact phrase that you're talking about. I remember the phrase slightly, but I can't recite it. 1976, Washington Capitals ended a 25-game winless streak, or I guess a losing streak, 0-22-3, beating the New York Rangers 7-5.
He snapped it.
Yep. 1977, $1.5 million Serge Lepage dress exhibited in Paris. What a frivolous! It's a dress, like a floral gown or something. Let's see if I can find it. Well, these are all different dresses. So what's the $1.5 million dress? I guess we'll never know. Way too many dresses.
Nor do I want to know.
And nor do I care. 1977, the miniseries Roots premiered on ABC.
Ooh,
yep.
Yeah.
78, Sweden became the first nation in the world to ban aerosol sprays due to their harmful effect on the Earth's ozone layer. 1981, the first Richard Nixon Museum opened in San Clemente, California. We saw that in the museum that's now. There used to be a different thing and all that stuff, and then they made his birthplace the whole museum and all that stuff.
Yeah, so there's no more museum in San Clemente, right?
There might still be. Let me see. Nixon Museum in San Clemente Nixon Museum, right here. I'm not sure if it still exists because this might be the same one that we have in our area. I'm not sure. If anybody can let us know in the comments section of the San Clemente.
I can't imagine having two museums.
Well, Patton has two.
Patton?
Yeah.
General Patton?
There's ours, down here.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's another one on the east. A bigger one.
What wasn't one of them Sherman tanks though?
That was Patton. General George S. Patton Museum.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sherman tanks.
Okay.
The one that we went to out here.
Yeah.
Had Sherman tanks.
Yes.
Not the last time we went to it, but they were all on loan to the other one on the east.
Ah. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. There's two General George S. Patton museums. Two. 1981, the NHL New York Islanders' Mike Bossy became the first NHL to score 50 goals in 50 games. The first in the NHL. 82, Herbe Blanca, the cow, produced a record 110 kilograms of milk in Cuba. This is the approximate date. Okay. 83, Russian radioactive satellite fell in the Indian Ocean. That's not good.
No.
83 as well, the TV series The A-Team with George Peppard and Mr. T premiered on NBC. I pity the fool who does not know about The A-Team. Did you ever see the new movie of The A-Team?
No.
Yeah, it didn't star Baracus or Mr. T or whatever. Obviously, they're much older.
Yeah.
But there's a scene where they literally flew a tank.
Flew a tank?
Flew a tank. They drove a tank out of an airplane and they used a gun to steer it as it was free falling. And they actually, fought against fighter jets coming in to shoot them and everything. So one of the guys got up, popped a turret, and got on the machine gun and just started, rat-tat-tatting. 1984, Buffalo Sabres became the first team in NHL history to win 10 straight road games with a 5-3 victory at Boston. 1984, greatest unpaced 1-hour bicycle distance, F. Moser of Italy, 51.15 kilometers. So he mirrored himself. He palindromed himself right here. 5:1.15. And unpaced. So he's just kind of doing his own thing for 1 hour. It wasn't a constant speed. I think, because that's what pacing means, right? Constant speed.
Well, you got to pace yourself. You don't go all out. You pace yourself.
Yeah.
So you can finish.
This was unpaced.
So he just took off and went.
Yeah, this was the greatest unpaced 1 hour bicycle distance.
Okay, so he just went full bore for 1 hour.
Yeah. 1985, Britain's House of Lords debate the first televised debate in the British House of Lords. This is written weirdly here. 86, inaugural class of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees. Chuck Berry, James Brown, Ray Charles, Tim Cook, Fats Domino, the Everly Brothers, Buddy Holly, Jerry Lee Lewis, Elvis Presley, Little Richard, Robert Johnson, Jimmy Rogers, Jimmy Yancey, Alan Freed, John Hammond, and Sam Phillips were inducted as the first into the Hall of Fame, yes. 87, Japan first exceeded military spending cap of 1% of GNP, $23 billion. And while that was happening, Mohammed said Hersey Morgan sent a letter of death to Somali President Syed Barre, proposing the genocide of the Isaac people. Yikes. 1 year later, Bob Benoit bowled the first 300-point game in a televised title match. Nice. 89, the challenge to Who is a Jew law filed in Israel Supreme Court. And this is what I was talking about. Actually, let me look this up here really quick. Israel, Who is a Jew law, 1989. So, law of return is an Israeli law passed on July 5th, 1950, which give Jews, people with one or more Jewish grandparents, and their spouses the right to relocate to Israel and acquire Israeli citizenship. Section 1 of the Law of Return declares that every Jew has the right to come to this country as an Ole immigrant, and the Law of Return, the State of Israel gave effect to the Zionist movement. Remember what I always talk about Zionists? Aim for the establishment of Israel as a Jewish state. In 1970, the right of entry and settlement was extended to people with at least one Jewish grandparent and a person who is married to a Jew, whether or not they are considered Jewish under Orthodox interpretations of Jewish law. So at least initially, it sounded like this law was very much like a Nazi law. They were inhibiting people from coming in unless they were Jewish, after they took the land from a bunch of Islamists. So, I don't know why anybody could support Israel. I really don't. 1989, NBA New Jersey Nets began a 32-plus game road losing streak. Now, what does that mean, 32-plus game? Like,
I don't know what the plus is doing on there, so that was
weird.
This is when they started it?
Yeah.
They say so it went over 32 games.
But why not tell us?
Yeah, I don't know why they do it that way.
Oh. 1991 as well, the world's largest oil spill caused by embattled Iraqi forces in Kuwait. Yeah. That's all the geysers and everything. 94, the Worldwide Day for Peace in Bosnia and Herzegovina. All right.
Yeah.
1996, the first version of the Java programming language was released. And I'm not sure if Java is still around. I think Flash is the one that died. Yeah, it is.
I don't know who Java is.
It's a programming language.
Oh.
Like HTML and like JavaScript, all that stuff. Like that's what people use to write like computer programs and everything.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So, 1997, Madeleine Albright became the first female to serve as United States Secretary of State. All right.
Madeleine Albright, yeah.
1998, Denver Nuggets tied the NBA single-season record of 23 consecutive losses set by the Vancouver Grizzlies back in 1995 to 1996. The streak ended with a 99-81 win the next day against the LA Clippers. 1998, actually, why did the Clippers get their name? Like, why are they called the Clippers?
Because they were in San Diego originally.
How does that explain it?
Well, that's a big port down there, and there's a lot of sailboats.
Oh, so like a clipper, like a ship.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought they were sponsored by like a manicuring service or something. The Clippers.
Oh. How does that explain it?
Well, I mean, the Packers, got their existence by the cheese packing company. Hence the name the Packers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I prefer to call them cheeseheads.
well, I'm a squid head. 1998, Michael Jordan scored in double figures for 800th consecutive game and a 198 overtime win over New Jersey. Added 40 more double-figure scoring games to his NBA record before retiring for the second time in 1998.
Yeah.
You know, Michael Jordan, in his own weird way, is kind of like the Napoleon Bonaparte of basketball. Napoleon was exiled twice. Michael Jordan retired twice.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So, we also had Pope John Paul II condemn the U.S. embargo against Cuba. Why? You think, why? Like,
Well,
I'm going to look that up here really quick. I know we're 5 minutes to the hour. I'm just going to ask the audience if they can let us know in the comment section. We got to keep going. 1998, Netscape announced Mozilla with the intention to release communicator code as open source. Mozilla Firefox, one of the browsers I use. 2001, 5 people set themselves on fire in Tiananmen Square. The Chinese Communist Party used the incident to escalate the persecution of Falun Gong. So they tried to say that for whatever reason this was like Falun Gong something or other, and they try to use these people as validation to continue murdering Falun Gong practitioners in one of their several genocides they have actively going on in China. You know? So,
yep.
2002, reporter Daniel Pearl was kidnapped in Karachi, Pakistan, and subsequently murdered.
Yeah.
So, was he the guy who was like famous for the tape, the beheading, or was that some other reporter?
No, he's just a reporter from the U.S. and they just bagged him, caught him, just captured him, and ended up killing him.
Well, I remember for a little while there was this thing that the Taliban was doing where like they captured U.S. citizens like journalists or contractors or whatever, and then they filmed themselves cutting the heads off and then sent that to U.S. or something. Like that was a whole thing for a while in the early 2000s. Oh, you better watch out! The terrorists will capture you and then film you of them cutting your head off.
I do remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. 2003, final communication between Earth and NASA space probe Pioneer 10, which was then 7.6 billion miles from Earth, or 12.23 billion kilometers. The weak signal was detected for the last time, but no usable data could be extracted. So, 2012, European Union agreed to embargo Iranian oil in protest against Iran's alleged nuclear weapons program, despite Israel having an active nuclear weapons program themselves.
How do you know that?
Well, because they stole nuclear stuff from, hold on a second, Israel nuclear power.
Because they've never claimed that.
Well, of course not. Why should they? So,
I'm not saying they don't.
Israel is widely believed to possess nuclear weapons. Estimates of Israel's stockpile range from 90 to 400 warheads, and the country is believed to possess a nuclear triad of delivery options by F-15 and F-16 fighters, by Dolphin-class submarine-launched cruise missiles, and by the Jericho series of medium to intercontinental ballistic missiles.
And what does that say at the beginning? Widely believed. So it's not confirmed.
Well, we can't say otherwise it's anti-Semitic. Because these people have mastered the art of victimization. So they cannot be held at blame, otherwise you hate Jews, and then that shuts up any conversation. So of course, no evidence is ever going to come out. They're not going to come out and admit it, because...
Well, they just don't state what they have or don't have. That's
yeah.
all.
Well,
it's not like they're going to admit something wrong.
Well, why can't the UN force them to? Oh, wait, because they own the UN. Like, the UN forces other countries to do things all the time. Why don't they do the same to Israel? If this is such a widely speculated thing, why doesn't somebody go in and put a pin on it?
It's pretty well understood. It's just never been made official.
Well, then why not make it official?
They choose not to. It's their country.
Well, the world needs to know. I mean, this is nuclear weapons.
None of our business.
It is absolutely our business to know whether or not they have nuclear weapons. 2015, Golden State guard Klay Thompson scored the most NBA points in a quarter, 37, and most three-pointers in a quarter, 9, in the Warriors' 126-101 win over Sacramento Kings.
Wow.
Yeah. 2016, eight museum workers from Egyptian Museum, Cairo, referred for prosecution for reattaching Tutankhamun's beard with inappropriate glue. That's unfortunate. 1 year later, we have a Category 5 blizzard delivered a record 3 feet of snow in the mid-Atlantic to the mid-Atlantic and across northeast U.S., killing 55 people and incurring an estimated $500 million to $3 billion in economic losses. That's a huge difference right there.
Yeah. Big storm going on this weekend.
Yeah.
All across the south and the north.
2016 as well, we have the Zika virus outbreak in Brazil prompted Colombia, Ecuador, El Salvador, and Jamaica to recommend women to delay pregnancies for up to 2 years. And the whole Zika virus thing, it was proven to have come out of a Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation medical research lab. Bill Gates is a very, very outspoken supporter of population control. And what did the Zika virus do? It caused birth defects for babies to be born with shrunken heads and all sorts of things. This was an attempt, or a test or something by Mr. I want to eliminate 90% of humanity, Bill Gates, directly linked. So people really need to open their eyes. 2017, most expensive house in the U.S. worth $250 million went on the market in Bel Air, Los Angeles. And we're going to be talking about another most expensive. There's a difference between most expensive house and most expensive property. Because a house is a house.
Yeah.
Property is a property. And a residence is a residence. 2018, Chinese researchers reported they have cloned 2 monkeys using the same technology as Dolly the sheep. Yikes. 2018, 12 camels were disqualified from the King Abdulaziz Camel Beauty Contest, Saudi Arabia, after their owners used Botox on their lips. Wow. Absolutely disgusting.
Are these actual camels?
Yes.
Yikes.
Yeah, no, let me show you something. You're about to see one of the ugliest animals on the planet, but in the Middle East, these are regarded as beings of incredible beauty, and they are held in high renown, and there's a whole thing about it. But let's see here. Islamic goats contest. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, here it is. Okay, so these things here. These goats, this is a whole contest. Here's a zoom in on. Look at this poor creature. It looks like a Picasso painting or something. But this is very much like the whole the beauty contest with the camels. They have Miss Muslim says beauty contest does not contradict Islam. Yeah, I don't know what that is. I'm trying to find the name of these animals. Goat contest, species, name. Let's see here. Web. Popular Islamic male goat name. That's goat names. I don't want goat names. Okay, well, we're not going to find what I'm trying to find. Anyway, moving on up to 2018, the United States-China trade war began when President Donald Trump placed tariffs on Chinese solar panels and washing machines. 1 year later, we have a new record for most expensive U.S. property, $238 million for a penthouse condominium overlooking Central Park, New York, bought by hedge fund billionaire Ken Griffin. Okay. We also have U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi disinvited President Donald Trump from making a State of the Union address in Congress citing government shutdown. What a childish immature. I'm going to uninvite you to my birthday party. Grow up, you fucking kid. How do you disinvite somebody? You fucking kid. Grow up, Nancy Pelosi, you 8-year-old. 2019, Venezuelan opposition leader Juan Guaido declared himself acting president amid widespread violent protests against President Nicolas Maduro's regime. As I said, now we're talking about this guy. This piece of shit right here. And now he's rotting in a jail cell. Good. 2020, 75th anniversary of the liberation of the Auschwitz death camp marked by an international forum in Jerusalem, Israel. That makes me wonder, why didn't we speak about this earlier? This wasn't in either of my sources. Auschwitz, of all places, being liberated, we didn't even cover that. That must have been 45, 46? Let me zoom back down to the 40s here really quick, just to see if I did skip over this. Because if anywhere, it should be in here. Okay. This is Operation Hannibal. Okay, nothing about Auschwitz. Nothing about now we're in 76. They did not mention Auschwitz. Not once. Huh. It's very weird. 2020, voice of a 3,000-year-old Egyptian priest recreated by scientists, 3D printing his vocal tract, published in scientific reports. And I actually want to show this to you. This actually became a meme, and you'll see why. So let me play this.
Scientists were able to mimic Nessie Amun's voice by recreating his mouth and vocal cords with a 3D printer. It allowed them to produce a single sound.
So that's the sound that they made with that with all those hundreds of thousands.
That is amazing, though.
It is cool, but it's also kind of like, okay, you spent 500,000 to make I just spent 0 to make
But if that's accurate, that's what his voice actually sounds
if it's accurate.
If it's accurate, yeah.
Because see, at the same time, right here, well, you see the playback in that, but the vocal cord stuff, they didn't make it out of flesh.
True.
So you cannot. That was not an accurate sound. Until you can 3D print it and make it out of flesh, you will not have an accurate sound. So
you know that for a fact?
Well, what's my throat and mouth made of?
Well, yeah, but if they're I'm not saying they can't duplicate it.
Well, if they duplicate my mouth out of any other material, it's not going to make the same sound because that material absorbs sound and reacts in different ways. Even audibly, if it's the same, it's still not the same because it's slightly different. So it's not 100% accurate.
Well, probably not.
No. Still pretty cool, but I mean, I'd rather focus attention on elsewhere, 2020, the World Health Organization, aka the WHO, declared the Kung Flu, also known as the China virus, also known as the Wu flu, to be a public health emergency of international concern. This pandemic eventually led to the global medical tyranny via using the 6 feet apart thing, which was from a mediocre paper produced from a project from a high school student, and with chin diapers, aka masks, that have large holes in them, big enough for 2 accounts of the virus to go through together while dancing, holding what you said, So all of that, so this is basically when the World Health Organization declared it a problem, and all the bullshit started happening. 2023, Stadian Richard Barrett, who was pictured with his feet on Nancy Pelosi's desk during the January 6 riots, was convicted on 8 counts in a Washington court.
Yeah.
Okay. 2023, Japan is on the brink of not being able to function as a society because of its falling birth rate and high life expectancy, says Prime Minister Fumio Kishida in his speech to the Japanese parliament. That is scary. 2024, the doomsday clock remains set at 90 seconds to midnight by the bulletin of the atomic scientists, citing threat of a new nuclear arms race, the Ukraine war, and climate change. Always with the stupid climate change. 2025, a storm Eowyn hit Ireland and the UK with record high winds of 114 miles per hour or 184 kilometers an hour, leaving hundreds of thousands without electricity in Northern Ireland and 1 person dead. Which, by the way, I want to bring up here. I'm just going to open this up in the other tab. I got a comment 10 hours ago from Mr. Mealburns 972 or 9072 from Ireland here.
Oh.
So we have a viewer from Ireland.
Awesome.
Yeah. And 2025 as well, U.S. President Donald Trump issued pardons to 23 anti-abortion activists convicted of illegally blocking access to clinics. That sounds very liberal right there. Why would he give them pardons? They're illegally doing things. Why is he pardoning woke people? That makes no sense.
Well, they're against abortions.
Okay.
So they're not liberals.
Okay, true. Yeah.
They're conservatives. They're
Okay. I got everything all mixed up. I'm so used to everything involving protests and doing illegal things being a liberal thing.
Yeah.
I forgot Republicans did it too. Okay, so I'm going to take off that comment right there. And then moving on up to the year 3268.
What?
Beginning of the second Julian period, or 1 Old Style. So remember, like, the whole Mayan calendar and different periods and all that stuff?
Yeah.
Well, the next Julian period for the Julian calendar that we no longer use because we use the Gregorian calendar, the next period will start in the year 3268 on this date.
Ah.
So stay tuned. If Omni Coalition is still around by then, I'm sure we would have taken over the world.
Wow, no question.
But that will conclude the show for the day. Once again, please check the underbar of the description below for any links that you may find interesting, including but not limited to all things Omni Coalition. A lot of history has and continues to be made on a daily basis. We can only bring you, a portion of what we found between two different sources. Please check them out. It is up to you to find the artifacts of our history, but only if each individual reaches out with and for open mindfulness and a yearning to see outside what you think you know, to grow and to find enlightenment. We have to find common ground with those who see their opinions differently from our own and find a better way to be better to one another. For your dose of past events daily, we stream every day at 5 p.m. Pacific Time, 6 Mountain, 7 Central, and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, respectively. For all of you and all of us, I'm AO Xander.
Golden Loon.
And UVRU. Until you catch us next time, whenever that is, wherever that is, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and subscribe. Toodles!
I'm thinking you should be the loon.
I definitely am a loon.
Oh.